Not Zero and Bobby, no make no way. It's Zero and Leo bringing the play. Tag team champs of the podcast world. Wrestling stories spinning unfurled. Uncut, unfiltered, no holding back. Throwing chairs, throwing facts, hit a verbal smack. Uncut, unpolished, but sharp as steel. This is the wrestling pod that's keeping it real.
Yes, hello, this is Zero once again, and as you obviously heard from the intro, it's me and Leo today because Bobby's out this week. So yes, we get another British takeover, which we normally do. So so welcome to Uncut, the British takeover. I think we're on part 5 now. I think 5 or 6.
Yeah, do you remember when this was a?
Yeah, it was only meant to be a one-off of that, and now it seems to be like a regular thing now. So like so we're up to like part 5 or part 6 now. But so I'm going to pass you over to Leo, my co-host today, to do his little intro that we normally do. Then we'll get into the show. So over to you, Leo.
Just hi everyone, Dan Leo from the Wrestling Retrospective YouTube channel, and interested to see some interesting topics today. I think it's going to be a good episode.
Yeah. So we'll go through a few bits and pieces then anyway. So a couple of bits and pieces of news that have come down. This is since our last show. Because it's been a week since we've done the last one.
Very quiet week.
Yeah, it has been a quiet week. So some of the bits and pieces come down, and so it's actually now been revealed that WWE wanted more than $7 million for Cena's final match. And that's what they asked Boston for, and Boston basically said no. However, Washington DC basically paid that, so that's why the match has been moved from Boston now to Washington. Anything on that really? I mean, I think that's a bit greedy. What is $7 million for Cena's last match?
Well, that's the thing is that because I personally don't know how these things work, so then. We don't know how much people are paying for Raws, for Saturday Night's main event, for SmackDowns, for whatever, if they're paying at all. Just like if it's just weekly TV. So I don't know what to compare it to. It just feels like, Boston Mass just made the most ideal sense. Yeah. So why not just go with that? And even if they don't pay the amount you want, it's still the sentimental value, and they'll probably get the biggest reaction, it being in Boston Mass. But clearly that's not the case. And we know from other stuff this week that WWE don't care about sentimental stuff. They only care about dollar signs. So
well, that'd be one of the talking points coming up soon. But I will just say we've got one comment in already, so it's from WrestleFace saying, "Morning, gentlemen. Morning, WrestleFace. Thank you for joining us."
Good morning.
Unfortunately, like I said, we've got no Bobby this week. Well, actually, we've got no Bobby today. Bobby's on with me tomorrow, so we're doing this. Yes, there's 2 different shows this week. So we've got that one. And then one of the other big talking points of this week, obviously apart from what we're going to get into, which is what we've said we were going to speak to, is Andrade's gone again. He's been released now. There was a lot of speculation behind it, and there was a lot of rumors and stuff on there, like it was to do with creative and stuff like that. But it's now come down from Sports Illustrated. It's come down as saying that he tested positive and failed a wellness violation backstage. Basically, the report was just that he got escorted from the building. Now I'm trying to think about what's actually banned at WWE now, what they've still got, because I think they unbanned cannabis and stuff like that. So, they unbanned weed and stuff. So I don't know sort of like what he would have tested positive for, really, unless it's obviously like performance enhancers or something like that. I don't know.
I also heard that he was that's unable to get hold of as well.
Yeah. Apparently he ghosted WWE for a good couple of weeks. So they were trying to do it and stuff. And they were trying to get him to do things for AAA as well. But obviously he never done that either.
I don't think he wanted to do the AAA stuff because he's a CMML guy, I believe. I might be wrong, so don't quote me on it. And the feud between AAA and CMML is like huge. Like it's. I don't. The only thing I can compare it to is like really intense football or soccer rivalries. Because, for example, in AEW, the Beast Mortos, he got banned from CMML for 14 years because he went to AAA without telling them. So, it's a pretty serious thing. So I don't know whether Andrade has a loyalty to CMML, and that's why he didn't do anything to do with AAA because he didn't want to. And that might have been part of, not like a big part of this, but what started to build upon what has now happened.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that, but he's well, I don't know, I didn't know any of that, but I mean, it seems to be that, like I said, the latest report that's come down and the latest confirmed report that seems to come down is that he felt that wellness policy violation. So to me, I'm thinking that's probably performance enhancer drugs or something like that, basically.
Maybe. I mean, we could all speculate. I don't think we'll actually know. But
the
last time we saw him, the last time we saw him was SummerSlam. From it was the TLC match.
Because he was meant to be in with
Ray Phoenix.
No, but then didn't he get pulled from that? I thought one of them got pulled.
No, they were both in the match together.
Oh yeah, but then he left sort of after that, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then I believe we haven't seen him since. He might have showed up on his backstage stuff at SmackDown, but I don't remember seeing him after SummerSlam.
Yeah, so I mean, so it probably happened around then, but I mean, it's what it is. But yeah, he's also been calling out MJF on Twitter as well, and being like he wants a mask versus hair match or something for it. That's what he wanted.
Well, MJF, I believe MJF called him out, and he's just responded with challenge of which MJF said no.
Wasn't it? Yeah, because he wanted it in Mexico, which makes obviously more sense. Like you were saying about the CMLL stuff. I can't speak today on that one, but that's quite interesting for that one. So, I mean, we'll see where he ends up. He'll probably end up going back to AEW again because he did some and said he's not burnt any bridges there and stuff and that. But that's obviously how it's going to go down. I will just obviously say if anyone does want to join in with the conversations, do not hesitate to leave us comments, and we will see what we can do. Basically, we'll see where to get you up. So one of the other big talking points of this week is WrestleMania 43 and the location of it. Now, I know obviously we've probably got a lot to say on this. And again, if anyone in the comments wants to say anything, then please feel free to. But yes, WrestleMania 43 has now officially been announced for Saudi Arabia. It'll probably be in the Kingdom of Jeddah like normal. How can I really put this? I do think they've made a mistake doing it there. And that a lot of people are not happy about it. The internet's in uproar. You could see when they've done the announcement as well. I don't think the stars wanted to be part of it, and Bianca's been getting a lot of hate as well.
The thing with Bianca is what people need to realize is the fact that this isn't her words. No. She will have been told to go and say all that stuff.
Yeah,
because you could tell by pretty much all the women who were there. So it was Vaquer, Liv, Charlotte, and Bianca.
Yeah.
That they weren't best pleased about this.
No.
The most recent, I believe, the most recent one we had was Night of Champions.
Yeah,
and what particularly stood out to me was the final of the Queen of the Ring tournament. You got Cargill pins Asuka, and the crowd goes silent.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible feeling, knowing that we now have WrestleMania on the way, and they're not going to care about the women, as well as a Royal Rumble coming up, and the fact that the women are going to come out. We're going to get 30 women's entrances, and there's going to be no reaction for it.
Yeah, that's
and it just it's very concerning just from that point, as and that's just from the women's point of view, but then you take everything else, and though the Saudi Arabia shows have improved drastically since the first, I'd probably say 4 or 5.
Yeah,
it feels very much like this WrestleMania won't be canon, almost it won't feel part of the WrestleMania lineage.
Yeah. The only Well, the thing as well that I found, like, if you notice that some of the reports and stuff, everything's come out now saying about how the Saudis want The Rock, Stone Cold, HBK, and stuff like that. Now, there's been no mention of any women on there at all. So they didn't want
Yeah.
any of the like legendary women. Like they didn't ask for like Lita or Trish or anyone like that, basically. So and that sort of says a lot that they obviously like they want to just book
It
these sort of big name men really for it.
Yeah, it
So,
wouldn't shock me if WrestleMania 43 had 3 women's matches on it, and it was a singles match for the women, singles match for the world, and a tag team match for the tag team titles, and that's it.
yeah, probably yeah.
And the
I
rest of
mean,
it is just men.
yeah. I mean, what I can see them doing, if need be, is just to get them out of the way. They'll probably open the shows with the women's matches. So they're
Probably.
open. They're open both. They're probably open both nights with the women's matches, so they're done and out of the way. And that way, then like they
Yeah.
know then that they can then get the that they can get in the rest of the show
Yeah.
and that like built how they want to. Because obviously, if they can get the Rock, for example, it's either going to be Rock versus Cody or Rock versus Roman and stuff to close night 2. So that's obviously guaranteed. That's going to be the biggest
Yeah.
match that they're going to be able to do is do that one for night 2. And then obviously then night 1 it'll be whoever's the world heavyweight champion or whatever at the time. So
Probably.
it'd be that one, or if it's not Rock versus Cody, it'd be Cody defending night 1 and stuff against somebody, and then Rock Roman night 2, and stuff for
Yeah.
it. So it's that unlike some years where we've had like the women in that co-main event, I can't see that's going to be happening because
No.
the Saudis have got some sort of control over
It's
the card.
Yeah,
for it.
it's going to be the safest women's matches they could do. So it's just going to be the 4 most over women in the world's title scenes. So it'll be like your Rhea's, your Biancas, maybe Liv, maybe Stephanie.
Yeah.
And then everything else will be more thought out, more probably storyline based. But for the women, I'm just very concerned it's just going to be very left by the wayside.
Yeah.
And then I can imagine what they'll probably then do is put on an evolution not long afterwards to then build that back up again and make it feel like they haven't been forgotten about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the other things as well that I can obviously think about probably the women is it'll be the ones that they can as I can put it, like get them to cover up easy. So the ones who wouldn't, either the ones that already wear sort of like full body suits, for example, like Bianca when she comes out wrestling and stuff, or and then or ones which they can persuade to fully cover up, because obviously some of them, if you notice, some of them never do the Saudi shows because some of their outfits that they normally wear on TV, they don't cover up. They probably haven't got anything to cover up and stuff like that really with. But if they can be anything, it's going to be sort of those ones there really.
If I had to guess, I would say that like the 4 women who will be in the main event scenes for WrestleMania 43 will be the 4 women who get the biggest pops in the Rumble.
Yeah, so that'd be
because they'll use the Rumble as a test to see who gets reactions to then figure out for the next year what they're going to do. So then they can have the fans in a way happy with which women are on the card.
Yeah. So, I can see one of them being Rhea, because I have noticed sometimes when Rhea does show up at Saudi, sometimes she does get a pop. So I mean,
I would argue her and Bianca are probably the 2 most consistent women.
Yeah.
When it comes to Saudi Arabia shows.
Yeah. I mean, so they'll probably have that one in there. And I mean, maybe if somebody new comes into the company, from one of the other companies or whatever, they might do that. But again, it's whoever they can. Again, this is the thing. It's whoever they can really get to who's willing to do it really. And that, because I think a report came out from Fightful as well saying they don't get any extra money for it. They used to get extra money for doing the Saudi shows, but now they don't get that either. That apparently they don't get that anymore now. It's now forms part of their contractual sort of thing. So
to be fair, I assume that in the first case. So there's always a WrestleMania bonus, because we always say, there used to be a point where when they had the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on the card, it used to be to get to the Mania paycheck.
Yeah. I mean, it obviously we'll sort of see what they do, but that's obviously the moan about it. Now, obviously, you brought up a good point before we came on air as well, and we were obviously discussing this one. Is obviously
Yes.
because Mania's going to be on at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the US and like 5 o'clock over
US,
here.
it's about
So
tea time for us.
yeah, so it'll be then like, so that would mean then that
It,
the 8 o'clock slot when the Mania and that would normally be would be empty.
yes, it opens up a spot to have a pay-per-view or something on after WrestleMania,
Yeah,
which ideally, and even though I feel, well, I'll kind of get into it, I suppose, because I feel like I'll probably rant about it because I am the AEW guy around these parts. But
yeah,
yeah, I feel like AEW should put on either Dynasty, which is their regular April pay-per-view, or
yeah,
a special pay-per-view that they'll call something else as a one-off
yeah,
after WrestleMania, because
yeah,
it would then answer WWE counter programming them all the time.
yeah,
And there's kind of, for me, there's kind of two ways to look at it, which is either they
yeah,
do that, it works to a degree, because it, like, people will probably watch it anyway, because they'll be
yeah,
like in that wrestling mindset, if you will, anyway.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
Also, it gives everything that would normally happen on WrestleMania weekend. So your indie shows, your
yeah,
wrestle cons, your kind of place for all the fans to come together
yeah,
wherever they decide to do that.
yeah,
It kind of gives that a home. Now,
yeah,
if it was me, and I was thinking about this yesterday, there's kind of three places I feel that would be best to do this in, which
yeah,
is obviously Jacksonville. You've got like the
yeah,
most loyal AEW fans will be there, so they'll like
yeah.
make a big, like,
Big thing
I don't know,
over
they'll
it.
just like, yeah, they'll make a big thing over it. You do it
Yeah,
in Chicago, which is obviously a well-known
yeah,
wrestling town, or you do it in Philadelphia, which again is the same, a big wrestling
yeah,
town that will make a big thing about it.
yeah,
But the only issue with that is, with that comes, well, WWE have two shows that they could put on in response to that, which is the Hall of Fame and Stand and Deliver.
yeah. Because I was going to say, because I could possibly see them doing it, because obviously because what has been going, I was actually going to bring this one up, is because obviously what happened obviously last year where they done SmackDown, where they done the Hall of Fame straight after SmackDown and stuff, and it was on at like ridiculous times. I could see them potentially doing that. Is like
Yeah.
the Saturday night, for example, you have the Hall of Fame, and then the Sunday you have NXT Stand and Deliver, and that to then stop that bit there. And obviously, like WrestleCon can still go on, because then anyone then who's in the States or whatever, they can then sort of still go to wherever
Yeah.
NXT is, because obviously what they generally tend to do is, if you notice, is the WrestleCons go wherever the WWE shows are. So
Yeah.
say like, I don't know, say like they do WrestleCon in, or well, say like they do NXT
Well, if
in,
they
I
do it
don't
in
know,
Vegas, like
yeah,
they'll probably
Vegas
do
or
next year.
yeah, like yeah, it would be Vegas or maybe Florida or something like that. Basically, they sort of do it around
Yeah.
that way. Like they could then do a WrestleCon there and that, and in that way,
Yeah.
then that still then gives you that WrestleCon and stuff. And because that's what a lot of people were saying, was like, what's happening in WrestleCon and stuff, because they're not going to hold one of them in Saudi Arabia and stuff.
No.
And and a lot of the indie stars as well ain't going to want to travel to Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia just to do
Well,
a
that's it.
WrestleCon signing and stuff.
Also, you have to consider the fact
So
that they might do as a direct, again, it might not be a direct response to AEW, but again, AEW would be silly not to put a show on after WrestleMania,
yeah,
but they might do some kind of, and I can very much see this happening, just to make it not the same level as WrestleMania, but to make it feel bigger than just your average NXT PLE, which is
yeah.
some kind of NXT, TNA, AAA mega show.
Probably, yeah. Like another, like they could do like a Worlds Collide, couldn't they?
Yeah,
Where they
so
sort of
you
like
do like a Worlds
NXT
Collide,
stuff.
but it has like a Survivor Series feel to it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, then because then I can imagine a lot of people would kind of be invested in that, to see the three companies kind of not only come together but like have matches against each other. You've got a lot of
yeah,
dream matches that can happen, and you get it on a big scale pay-per-view that comes after WrestleMania.
yeah. I mean, the only other one which I can see going on, and you've already touched on this, is possibly that weekend to make everyone happy, as they do an Evolution in the evening. So you then have your WrestleMania like
Maybe.
night one or something like that, and then say then on Saturday you have Evolution in the evening, and that way then they can have.
Yeah.
The only issue with that is then people trying to say, oh, but then the women don't really have WrestleMania moments. But would they prefer the women to like have their own pay-per-view on in the evenings and stuff? Where
Well,
it's literally all dedicated to women and stuff.
Yeah, well, they can just build it as like this
No.
massive women's event, and they can.
Yeah,
There's probably some kind of historical thing going on at that point that they can cover it
yeah,
round. And WWE, like their marketing team, are probably second to none. They'll find a way to make
yeah,
it feel bigger than just, oh, we're putting this on just because the women aren't getting treated the way they should in Saudi Arabia. Even though that is the
yeah,
truth, they'll
yeah,
find a way around it and market
yeah.
it as the biggest thing to ever happen to women.
Yeah, so yeah, it'd be like some historical arena or
Yeah,
something like that they'll put it into, or I don't know, something
yeah,
like that. Or heck, they could even do it in, say, well, it's going to be in America because, of course, they want to try and keep it in
yeah,
America somewhere. But like what you said, they can literally do it anywhere, really. They could find one
yeah,
of these historic wrestling towns and stuff and sort of like do it around there. But I mean,
yeah,
it kind of, yeah, they'll probably do something and stuff like for it. Like, I can't see WWE letting the 8 o'clock slot be free on both
yeah,
nights. They're going to want to put something on TV so that it stops that counter programming there potentially.
yeah,
Or the only other way which I could see them doing it is you have a TNA pay per view there.
yeah,
So you maybe have a TNA pay per view on a Saturday evening as well, because TK and still get something out of that, because of course it's still
mm,
that whole joint thing there. And then again, you could, because potentially you could actually do that. You can then do a TNA pay per view, say on the Saturday, and then stand and deliver on the Sunday,
hold on, yeah.
basically, because then you
It
can then do
wouldn't
the
shock me.
crossovers in between the two events. Really?
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me
Yeah,
if they moved Slammiversary.
yeah, yeah. Move
I
Slammiversary to
can't
that
remember
weekend.
what month Slammiversary is normally in. I believe it's June or July. Move
Mm.
that to April, and then have them do their second biggest pay per view at the same time
WrestleMania
as
weekend.
at the WrestleMania weekend. Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, they could probably do that and stuff, But yeah,
yeah. They'll
they,
find a way to dominate that whole weekend, no matter what.
yeah, yeah. So
So
that way then, so you're saying then probably now have WrestleMania and then over in America. I'm just going on the American time, so it'd be like 1 till possibly 6 or something like that.
yeah,
WrestleMania of a day or whatever, and then you'll then have 8 till 10
whenever.
or 8 till 11 or 8 till midnight or whatever with something else on. They're not going to
Yeah,
give that chance for
no,
AEW, obviously, or anyone else, basically, given that mind, anyone outside the WWE banner, they're not going to give them that chance to be able to air anything
no,
on there. That's blatantly obvious. They're not
no.
that they know that other people are going to want to counter program and stuff like that around that time. So they've probably already arranged something to go into there. To
Yeah,
be fair,
probably.
and stuff, and we'll find out like a
Well,
couple of months beforehand or whatever it'll be.
and even
So
with the Hall of Fame, you have to believe that Cena's going to be inducted, so then that'll bring more
yeah,
people in.
yeah,
Whether they do the Hall of Fame in Saudi Arabia, I hope not, but they're not going to want
mm,
everybody in the States who is going to go into the Hall of Fame. So,
no,
and they've got all those fancy buildings in Saudi Arabia to be able to do the Hall of Fame in, I assume. So,
yeah. Well,
but
that's the other thing as well. Is they normally have the Hall of Fame people show up at WrestleMania, won't they?
I mean,
So if
yeah,
anything, if anything, I could see them actually doing it in Saudi. So they've got them on
I mean,
site
probably.
and stuff. That's the thing. But it
Yeah, they'll
depends who they
find
get.
the
Depends who they're
fanciest
doing it.
building and
Yeah.
they'll induct they'll induct people that the Saudi Arabia people that will adore, like your
If
John Cena's and your The Rock and all that kind of thing.
yeah, I was going to say that could possibly be the year where they do actually put Rock in, because if
Okay,
they're
yeah.
getting if they're getting him over there for Saudi,
Well,
then
you
they might
can
as well use him and stuff like, won't they?
well, you build it as Rock's like last match or something, don't you?
Yeah, Rock's last match and that, and then he
Which
goes
will
into the Hall
pour
of Fame the
even
same
more
weekend.
fans in,
Yeah, which would be
especially with it
yeah,
being lunchtime in America, tea time for here. More people will watch it.
yeah. That's the
Which
thing,
is
yeah.
then
So I
which is
think,
then the big concern, because if more people are watching it during the day, the more likely we're going to go back to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania in the future.
oh, they will do. Yeah, they're going to get it already. They're going to do that already.
I mean,
And
probably, but
I, you know, no, I mean,
it's
I can see
like
some of the comments in that here, and I'll go through them in a minute. But yeah, it's just that they're going to keep this up, and I think they're in what, year 7 or year 8 now of the 10-year deal for
so,
Saudi, and it'll probably get extended because again they're
of course
getting
it will.
like I do think one of the reports that came down to me and said, well, they're getting 100. It's like 100 mil for the Royal Rumble they've got,
Yeah.
and it's then like it's massive. I can't remember what the actual amount was now.
Is it
It
250 mil for WrestleMania?
Might be, or a
That's
bit
what
more
I
than
saw.
that, basically, yeah, and stuff, yeah, for WrestleMania. So if they're getting that kind of money, bearing in mind a normal Saudi show, from the last time that it was reported, a normal Saudi show, they get about 50 mil per Saudi show and stuff.
Yeah,
You know, if
so
if they're getting that money for these shows, they're gonna keep going over there and stuff. And the Saudi
absolutely.
keep requesting it and stuff. So, you know, I keep saying this to people as well, and I know obviously like some people don't like it, but it's the future, and WWE are going to do a lot more
Yeah.
outside of basically outside of America, because you know the American crowd sometimes they are bad, basically. You know, sometimes you don't get those pops and stuff, whereas they know if they, for
Yeah.
example, like done pay-per-views everywhere else, it's done that way. And you know, WWE now, well, not WWE especially, but TKO, they are going for the highest bidder. So this is what this is what other people have been saying, is like it's meant to be. It originally WrestleMania 43 was advertised as it was over Nashville or something like that, basically.
Yeah, I
But
thought it was. If I saw it
but
right, it was 42 was Vegas, 43 was Nashville, 44 was Indianapolis.
yeah, no, yeah, but no, but obviously this the thing is TKO and WWE are going to keep doing this. Is nowhere is set in stone, and I'm even
Yeah,
saying this now is next year, for example. SummerSlam's meant to be in Minnesota and stuff,
Minnesota, yeah.
but if another state outbids them, it's going to the other state. You know, like technically, and I've said this to a few people already, is technically if Saudi Arabia have the money, that if they wanted to, they could literally turn around and say, "We want all 12 pay-per-views here." You know, we're going to pay, we're going to outbid every other country for these pay-per-views, and and we'll have them
Mm.
and stuff. And TKO will go for that. That's the problem. But obviously they'd be stupid to do that. So hopefully they don't.
Well,
But
I
yeah,
assume they'll go for that until the UFC debt's paid off.
and that's the thing. Yeah, but it's like I keep saying, it's like they're just going to keep getting, and this is why 41 got changed as well. And that round is because Vegas outbidded. Vegas
Yeah.
offered more money than what where was
New
it
Orleans.
originally? New Orleans, yeah, than what New Orleans offered, and this is how it's going to be going forward every time now. Is, you know, people come
Yep.
and say, "Oh, but it was meant to be here, it was meant to be here," and stuff like that. All I'm going to say is, if something gets announced a year or more out, it's likely going to change, because
Probably.
you know TKO, they're going to get more bids in. Like, for example, like, you know, they could even get outbidded by, like, I'm going to say WrestleMania 43 is going to be set in stone, because nobody's going to be able to outbid the Saudis. Like, nobody
No,
at all is going
of
to be
course
outbidding
not.
those Saudis and that. But like, they could even say, like, say for example next year. Obviously, I know this is going to be impossible because our country's in debt. But like, if we offered more money than Minnesota did for SummerSlam, then we would get SummerSlam. You know, if France offered more money than Minnesota for SummerSlam, they would get SummerSlam. You know, it's whoever bids the most amount of money will be getting those events and stuff. And you know, they could come and
Yeah.
say to WE, like, we're going to pay you 40 million or whatever, but we want SummerSlam. You know, if that's the highest bid,
Yeah.
then that place is going to get SummerSlam and stuff. And I know for a fact and stuff, and this has also been reported by other people as well, is next year alone, well, starting from next year, WWE are looking to do at least 6 of the normal pay-per-views in foreign countries. So they're going to be outside of America
Yeah.
and stuff, but they obviously haven't finalized this yet, because they don't know who's going to outbid who. But you know, they
Yeah.
want to take it out of America and stuff, and they want to do all these ones in these foreign countries to give, you know, us European fans more chances to view, you know, to go to these big pay-per-view events, rather than just getting, say, like a Clash over here sometimes, or you know, something like that, or like the like house shows and stuff that we get. They want to give the countries where they get the biggest reactions and the biggest pops, like those, you know, those ones there. And you know, I've even heard as well that to tie in with when they launched the brand in Japan, they want to run one out of the Tokyo Dome. You know, they
I
want
mean,
to
it
run
makes
one
perfect sense.
out
I'm
of the,
surprised they haven't done the Tokyo Dome yet.
yeah, you know, that's the thing is that they actually want to run a pay-per-view from the Tokyo Dome, and if that's the case, then that's going to be like 4 a.m. pay-per-view for us, and
True.
like whatever. It'd be like an 11 o'clock start for America or whatever and stuff,
True.
and going on overnight.
Watching New Japan is a bit of a pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So So yeah, so that's what we're going to get there. Is I know for a fact that they're planning at some point to go to Tokyo for a pay per view,
Yeah.
and that
It makes
I don't know
perfect
when that's
sense.
going to
Japan
be.
is a
Yeah,
big wrestling country.
Imagine say I don't know 45 or 46 they get the Tokyo Dome, for WrestleMania. So yeah, you'd have WrestleMania out of the Tokyo Dome. That'll be the biggest sort of event that they could possibly do, and that they'll go all out for that one. They would go all out if they've got a Tokyo Dome for it. So that's there. But
Nakamura would finally win his world title.
Yeah, he would do. Yeah, in the actual Tokyo Dome. Right. Well, we've spent a bit of time on this, but I'm just going to quickly go through the comments. So, WrestleFaith, this is quite a long one, but I'm going to read it all off. So here we go. So,
There we go.
this is not. So, this does not surprise me at all. Mark Shapiro is all about money, money, money. TKO / Endeavor have debt and they want out of it, and they're going to do it by all means necessary. They're tarnishing the relationship of the life of friends who cannot afford the high ticket prices nor travel internationally to enjoy these events either. It's a shame. Also, wasn't it meant to be in Nashville before Saudis took it? Yeah, we said that one there. Russ Face also said, I doubt if Stephanie will be there. I do not see her doing the devil's kiss there. I mean, yeah, they probably won't allow that one there. And then I also read that the Entertainment Authority in Saudi has created control over what goes down at Rumble and WrestleMania 43. That is correct. They do. They have about 90% creative control. Like they're requesting wrestlers and stars, and they're basically like they can turn around and say we want this person, and WWE will get them somehow. No matter how much money they need to pay them, they'll get them. And stuff like that. Obviously, providing they can do. So providing they're like 90 years old or like and stuff, or like dead or whatever, they'll get them. And then like WrestleFaith as well. Didn't they have a signed agreement with Indy to have 4 big pay-per-views? They did, but
they did, yes.
Just the thing is, they've got that agreement, but they don't care. If all it is just they would get a pay-per-view. They would do one there, and I mean they'll have the Rumble at some point. They'll have Mania at some
We've
point.
had the Rumble.
They'll then, oh yeah, well, we've had the Rumble. They'll have SummerSlam. They'll have Mania, and they'll probably have
Survivor Series.
Yeah, Survivor Series or something there. But this is the thing is they can fit them in whenever and stuff, and they could easily give Indy like 2 in 1 year. Like we could end up possibly having a SummerSlam and Survivor Series in the same year, and that way then they've done it. But the problem
the very clever part about that announcement was nothing was dated.
Yeah, nothing was dated and stuff. And this is the thing is like it's obviously it's like over a set time frame or whatever it is, or it could be like over like 4 or 5 years or whatever. But again, they've got clauses in everything they do where it's if anyone outbids that country, the other country is going to get them and stuff. And this is the thing is WWE, yes, they might obviously annoy people and stuff like that, but WWE and TKO are very clever with how they do their business deals. Like they have clauses in literally everything. They've even got clauses in TV deals restricting other wrestling companies from airing on those TV channels. From airing on any channel associated with that network. So, as an example, where they obviously air SmackDown on USA Network, because that's connected to NBC, Universal, any channel that is associated with NBC Universal, now no other wrestling company outside of the WWE bubble can air on those channels whatsoever, and stuff. And Disney, for example, because obviously now they're part of ESPN, ESPN's owned by Disney. So anything now owned by Disney is out for everybody else, and that includes Fox and everything like that as well. Because obviously Fox is owned by Disney, so it's sort of they're clever with how they do it, and it's sort of like it's some people can see it as annoying and greedy and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's smart business. The way that I put it down is
I mean that's the thing. It's smart business, but as fans, as like lovers of wrestling, it's a pain. Because then we're pretty much forced to choose. And that's what we don't want to do. We want to watch everything.
No.
And I mean, there were weekends where they were full of weekends. So we would have I think there's like 4 to 5 weekends in a month. 3 of those would be wrestling because you'd have WWE, AEW, and NXT.
Yeah.
But And though it's kind of this thing, I liked that, and I hate the counter programming stuff. But at the same time, as far as like booking off work, it's obviously a lot easier because I'm only booking one weekend off instead of 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for me, I think the way I described it to my brother once was like with WWE and the counter programming for AEW was like if the way I put it was like if a year 11 kid was trying to pick on a year 5 kid, and year 5 kid was like, "Well, I'm clearly not going to fight you. That would be stupid. So I'm just going to walk away," which is AEW moving to an earlier time.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, it just feels like the bigger person is trying to fight the smaller person, and they're just like, "Well, no, I'm clearly not going to go up against you. That would be silly."
No. Well, in relation to that, obviously, it's already come down as well. I can't remember again who put this one out. It could have been Fightful. It might have been. I might be mistaken there, but somebody already put this one out as well. Is that next year WWE are looking to literally counter every single AEW pay-per-view, obviously from that one. So if AEW move a pay-per-view to an earlier time, WWE will move a pay-per-view. WWE will schedule a pay-per-view for that exact same time, or they will move their pay-per-view to that time frame.
Yeah. So for example, next year, especially it's especially in my mind with wanting to go to All In.
Yeah,
is the fact that Money in the Bank is the night before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't feel like they're going to counter it exactly. They might move Money in the Bank to after All In, but right now it's looking like staying up 1 till 4 or 5 to watch Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Get up, go into London City Centre, go to All In.
Yeah.
So people essentially at All In, if they want to watch both, will be tired because they've had to stay up and watch Money in the Bank, or they've chosen to stay up and watch Money in the Bank, and then gone to All In.
Yeah, I personally could see that they're going to whack an NXT pay-per-view at the same time as All In. I can personally see that.
I can't see. I can see them doing it afterwards because it's in the UK, so it'll be UK time.
Oh yeah. So it'd be that evening then, won't it? Yeah, so it'd be like last time. So it'd be like then.
So it'll be Money in the Bank. Yeah, so Money in the Bank Saturday.
Yeah.
All In Sunday afternoon. Money, whatever NXT Sunday night.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing though: is WWE have no adversity to like airing pay-per-views earlier, so it would not surprise me if they actually air it during the same time as All In.
Probably, but then the point, I think one of the points they have is the fact that if they go on later, people will talk about the last thing they see.
Yeah,
which will have been NXT, which then overhauls AEW.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. One thing as well, which I didn't think about, which WrestleFaith brought up, is does this weekend's pay-per-view count towards the indie pay-per-view agreement? I mean, it probably does because they're putting WrestlePalooza down as sort of a WrestleMania sort of styley one. That's what they're saying.
I mean, it is a pretty big event.
Yeah, it is a pretty big event. So I would say yes. So this is probably I didn't think about that one. Yeah, obviously, because they're an indie. So so this is probably one of the 4 agreements that they've got. So they might not ever get a Mania. They might not ever get, or whatever, because of someone to say, well, you had WrestlePalooza. You've had the Rumble, you've had WrestlePalooza and stuff. We owe you 2 more. So then they'll give them like a Money in the Bank.
I can imagine that they won't take Mania away because Mania's like the biggest one. But I can imagine they might go, well, now you don't need Survivor Series because we're giving you this instead.
Yeah. I mean, it could be that. I mean, we could end up getting a Mania and stuff like that, and they'll be like, well, this is the last one that you're getting now, basically. You're not getting any others. This we've done you 4 or whatever, isn't it? It
is a weird deal. It was very weird when they announced it.
Yeah. I mean, that's possibly which I can see it doing that way. But I mean, that's that. We spent a good like 40. Well, we spent a good like half hour talking about this one.
But it is like the biggest talking point of the week, I'd say. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. And again, WrestleFaith has to and said, they're being smart and using loopholes to maneuver. Yeah, and this is the thing, is what I keep saying is, in all contracts that WWE sign, they always have clauses in there where they can either get out of the clause they can either get out of the deal with no issues to them or whatever, or they can simply just like turn around and be like, well, we've given you 4. They don't need. They've never said like it would be like they never said specifically what pay-per-views it would be, just that they would get 4 big events there. And they could turn around and say, you've had the Rumble, you've had WrestlePalooza and stuff like that. And this is the thing, they could even turn around and say, as part of the clause, is they could turn around and say, well, we can't give you the 4th one, we're going to give you the money for it. And then WWE will just give them cost of what it would have been, for whatever Indy signed for it,
Or they'll give them, maybe they'll go, okay, well, we're not going to give you SummerSlam, but we'll give you this B level and this B level instead. We'll give you, like clashing something and this, or do you know what I mean? Like something that's not as important. We'll give you 2 of those for the price of that, of the one.
I mean, technically, they could give them some NXT pay-per-views. They could still count that. Yeah, they could technically give them.
You could just say, okay, here's a Backlash and a, I don't know, like a Heat Wave, and then there you go. There's your lot.
And if it's done, that makes up for it. So and in that way, then they get a 5th pay-per-view out of that one, but it's because they've had, that NXT pay-per-view instead of one of these big ones. So they're very clever at how to do it. And this is the thing: is a lot of people I know moan about the company, but they're smart. They do smart business.
Smart business. But they've always done that.
Yeah, they always have done. And this is the thing.
This isn't news.
No, it's started. They've got the Vince McMahon thing. Let's just say, like that's what Vince used to do, and it's like it's very. I
mean, it's what Vince used to do. It was Vince, as evil as he was not as cutthroat as this.
No, obviously no. I mean, I do sort of agree to that one. Yeah, he was never as cutthroat as this and that, and like, I mean, like, yes, he might have done something with Saudi, but I don't ever think he would have given Saudi a WrestleMania, to be fair.
No.
Even no matter how much money they offer.
I would rather have a Saudi show that is so, like, the card is so out there that, like with your Goldberg Fiend, with Undertaker, Goldberg, with DX and Brothers of Destruction, all that kind of stuff. I would rather get 1 or 2 of those a year than see them get a WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, it's just how things are, though, isn't it? WWE, like they've gone ahead. TKO now have signed this massive deal and stuff, and they've obviously done that way. So
well, that's the thing is the case of, like, I mean, this is the way I look at it: is the fact that WWE are coming across as, like, ironically, the massive heels here, but it's actually making me want to get even more invested in AEW more. Yeah, because like they're being essentially dicked on for no reason at all. They know they're not a threat to WWE, and yet they're getting like all this stuff, like as if they're trying to pick a fight with WWE, which they're not. It's all really silly and petty, in my opinion, because we don't need to be in this position.
No, obviously not. No, I mean it's how it is, isn't it, and stuff, and like. I know a lot of people are still upset about it, but it's happening. They're not going to get rid of the Saudi pay-per-view, no matter how much it is. Not when they're being paid $250 million for that show, or however much it was. Basically,
it's a thing I've very much accepted very quickly, and it's not something I'm surprised about at all.
No, it was coming. It was coming, basically. Like it was. Well, all I can say is we're lucky that the company isn't owned by Saudi Arabia, because if they had got that winning bid in for the company, if they had won the bid for the company and Vince has signed over WWE to Saudi Arabia, then we would have had almost every single show in Saudi Arabia, because they would have wanted to do that. We wouldn't have had any of this stuff that we've got now. We would have had almost I would say 9 months out of the year they would be in Saudi Arabia and stuff for it, because they would want to do that. So we're lucky. That's what I'm going to say. We're lucky. We're lucky. It's only going to be like 1 or 2 shows a year that they're getting. Obviously next year they've got 3, but that was because they only got 1 this year.
Until Saudi do buy them.
Yeah, and stuff like that. But I mean, it's it would not surprise me either if that was the case. Or Saudi helped Vince, for example, or the McMahons buy the company back. That's the only other way which I can see it. Is like possibly Shane and Stephanie bundle their money together. Whereas the thing is, either Shane or Stephanie bundle their money together and join up with the Saudis and stuff because of Vince's influence and buy the company back off TKO. That's the only way which I can see it, to get it back in McMahon's hands. But that's all I can see it. But anyway, so we'll move on to the main point of today's show anyway. Obviously,
yes, in case you didn't know, it was WrestlePalooza this weekend.
So as Leo just said, so it is WrestlePalooza this weekend. there's 5 matches announced for the event. So,
Yes.
but I think we're going to be getting a lot of appearances for it. I think because of this one, where they're going to make it big.
Because of ESPN. Yeah.
Yeah, because of ESPN and stuff. Yeah, I think we're going to be getting a lot of appearances instead. So,
I
so
thought you were going to say we're going to add another match.
I don't think that. Well, if they are, it's going to be something like, I don't know, like a US Championship match or something like that. Or
I was thinking Stratton versus Jax versus Cargill. That's
possibly
where my head went, but
of course,
maybe they'll do that at Crown Jewel.
But of course, they're kayfabe and Tiffany being injured, aren't they? So that's the thing. It's like, are they really going to be able to do it on Friday? Yeah, I mean, like, are they going to be able to do that one on Friday and literally set? Because this is the thing as well, is whatever match they set up, it's got to be one with really no backstory, or one which has already got a massive backstory to it, because they're going to be setting it up literally the night before. Yeah, it could be that, could it? Yeah, it could literally be a US title open challenge and stuff, and they sort of that way. With Sami Zayn doing that way or whatever. But so we have. So again, if people want to join in with this, please don't hesitate to leave comments, and we'll see what these. We'll get to them. So we have Io Sky versus Stephanie Vercourt for the vacant Women's World Championship. Okay, who you got for that one?
I have Stephanie Vercourt, but like my prediction here comes a case of I'm actually not sure who's going to get the win, because Asuka is moving very suspiciously. So the way I'm kind of looking at it is either Asuka gets involved. Well, okay, that's kind of what is wrong. Asuka will get involved, I think. One way or another, she's going to get involved in this. But it's whether or not she helps Io win the title and Io turns heel here, because I've noticed a lack of top heel women on Raw. Yeah. So you've got Stephanie, who's a face, Rhea, who's a face, Io, who's a face.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it feels like we need that top heel to go against, because obviously we had it in Naomi. She's got pregnant, she needs to go away. So we need to fill that spot in. So maybe Asuka helps Io. Io suddenly turns, which people don't see, and she becomes a women's champion again. Or Asuka costs Io. She becomes the top heel on Raw, and then Stephanie wins the title because Asuka has costed Io.
Yeah. I mean, I could see. I could possibly see that they end up giving it to Stephanie, and in that way, then that opens up them for Stephanie versus Rhea at Crown Jewel, because that's the thing as well. Is obviously it's in Australia, and Rhea is going to be in that match, so that way then you then get that Stephanie and Rhea match that everyone wants, and you get that at Crown Jewel and Rhea's home, in Australia. So
I have been saying that for many months now.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what it's going to be. And I hate to say it, but I could potentially see Rhea winning it in Australia. I think the original plan was always Rhea was going to win it in Australia, and that from Naomi or whatever. And that until they've done this, that's what I can sense is that whoever's holding it now, they're going to literally have from WrestlePalooza up until Crown Jewel at champion, and then Rhea's going to take it. Between. Yeah. I mean, well, this is the thing is they could surprise us and go elsewhere, but at the end of the day, it's WWE. Well, okay, no, I'll reword this. It's Triple H. Triple H loves Rhea, and he's going to give that title to her as much as whatever he can do, basically. So
maybe.
Yeah. So
you're backing.
I'm backing Stephanie for that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So before we move on, then, so WrestleFaith again. So WrestleFaith Timmer said the extra match could be Mitchin versus Julia for the Women's United States title. I mean, they've been building that one, haven't they? So they could do that one again. Mitchin versus Julia.
Didn't we get that match like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, but they could probably do it again. You know what they're like. If they want to whack an extra match,
maybe, but it's not very pay-per-view worthy.
No.
But
yeah. And I have Stephanie as well. I have Asuka costing Io. Stephanie wins. We get a match with Asuka and Io, and Asuka wins, and we get Asuka and Stephanie or Asuka and Rhea, depending on who leaves Crown Jewel as champion. So yeah, I mean that's possible. Gets Asuka back in the main event scene again. Back in the women's main event scene again. That could work, could it? Yeah, I mean that could work. Yeah, I sort of agree with that one. Like I said, I have Stephanie walking out as champion. I don't know why I just got her walking out as champion for a little bit. Right, next match and end. So we have the Usos versus the Vision in a tag team match. I'll start off with this one. Nice and simple. I've got the Usos. They've just reformed. I don't think they're going to give them a loss on their very first one. Their very first one back as a tag team, really. So That's what I can see. I think you were smiling then, so I don't know whether you've got a difference or whatever. But yeah, over to you then. Who have you got for this one?
I disagree. I think they're
Enough.
having the Usos lose, and it'll be Jay's fault. Jay is so conflicted right now. There will be a massive miscommunications between the Usos. There'll be like a moment within the match where they will come together as one, and we'll get that kind of sense of the Usos back. But yeah, I feel like Jay and Jimmy aren't on the same page. The Bronsons are gonna take advantage of that, and they're going to get the win because they need this big tag team win. I feel like they should already be tag team champions. It feels like they should probably I don't know. They just feel like they would make more of the tag titles than the Judgment Day have been doing at the minute.
Yeah,
and yeah, this really should be for the tag titles, just this match in general. But I feel like Jay is going to accidentally cost the Usos this match.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing as well, is obviously they left it sort of on a cliffhanger on Monday where who was Jay ringing? Because that's the other thing as well, is who was Jay speaking to? And that for it. And
Roman.
Could have been Roman, yeah, or something like that. Or, there are some people turn around and say, could he have been ringing Dwayne and stuff? But I can't see why they would do that one. But it's like I can't see that one. But I mean, yeah, he probably was ringing Roman or whatever. And we might even get a Roman sort of show up at WrestlePalooza, if anything, because I think he's finished filming now. I think he actually finishes filming like today or tomorrow. So,
Cody's back, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, Cody's back. So yeah, so I mean, so we've got that one there. So that's that one there. Let's have a look in. And so before we move on, so Rest Faith, after the interview on ESPN and Jimmy saying it's been a bit hard getting back on the same page with Jay, they may lose. Also, it was interesting that Jimmy called Jay his right-hand man. It was either Roman or Jacob he was calling. That's true, yeah. He could have been calling Jacob in. We didn't think about Jacob because, obviously he's been doing a lot of stuff with Jimmy, hasn't he, and stuff. So, obviously could be that one there.
True.
And stuff. So, yeah, it could be that. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens there, won't it? Next one then. So we have Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus CM Punk and AJ Lee. Now, I'm going to
it's the most predictable match on the card, right?
Yeah, CM Punk and AJ Lee. Yeah, AJ Lee's back after 10 years. She ain't taking that loss.
She's not losing the first match, right? No,
she's probably as well even going to pin Becky. I can see them ending it as not even like I can see them as AJ Lee pins Becky, and then
AJ pins Becky, and then we get the separation where it's Punk and Seth for the title, AJ and Becky for the title, and we go from there.
Yeah. I was going to say that one. Yeah, that's how I can sense it. Yeah, they're gonna, because they've already teased AJ holding that title and stuff and winning that title. That's the way which I can see it. Is so AJ Lee goes after Becky. She pins Becky and then turns around and says to like Adam Pearce, for example, like I pinned. I pinned the Intercontinental Champion and stuff at WrestlePalooza. I won that match, and then you get that at say Crown Jewel. You then get Becky versus AJ Lee at Crown Jewel and stuff, and they do it that way. So yeah, let's have a look here. So Rest Faith, I always take the Punks over the long backs, which is Seth and Becky. Yeah, like what we said, it's probably the most predictable match on the card. That's what you're going to get there. Is you're going to get AJ Lee, and AJ Lee isn't going to take a loss on her first match back. No chance in hell. Are they going to do that one? Quoted an absolute legend there, Vince McMahon. No chance in hell. As it is. So that was there. Next one then. So for the undisputed WWE Championship, we have Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. I got Cody. I can't see Cody dropping it.
I wish I could be sat here saying that Drew's going to become the next WWE champion, but he's not here.
No, yeah.
I do think, and my prediction now, which we can hopefully come back to in a few months and say that I said it here, is I think Drew wins the title at the Royal Rumble.
Possibly.
Because for whatever reason, I can't see Cody going into Mania as world champion. And I feel like if Drew can, because this is like the way my mind is kind of set right now, if Drew can beat Cena in his final match, that sets him up perfectly to challenge Cody again at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So I don't think Cody, because this match, even though that this feud has had a decent build to it, it's been all Drew.
Yeah.
So Cody coming in at the last minute and like literally a week before making the match it's got a Cody win written all over it because we've not really had a proper feud, in my opinion.
No. Yes, it's Cody's blatantly retaining. He's not gonna. I can't see Cody.
It would be a
dropping the title
huge
just yet.
shock if
he did
Drew wins here.
Yeah, a massive shock. Like I said, I can't see Cody taking the L at WrestlePalooza. I just can't see it. They're gonna want Cody to walk out from that event as champion, basically, because obviously it's the first one on ESPN. Plus, as well, obviously the other title isn't on the line, so they're gonna want the undisputed championship. They're gonna want the undisputed WWE champion to walk out as that one there, basically.
Yeah.
So rest faith again. I really, really want Drew to take the title, but I know Cody will retain. Yeah, this is the thing. Cody's definitely going to retain.
We all know better than about Drew.
Yeah, that's the thing. Right, and the last match, which has been confirmed as the main event, is John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. I do believe, and we'll get into this one afterwards, I do believe the reason why they've done this is because they're going to set up John Cena's opponent for Crown Jewel, because if you notice, he's only got one appearance between WrestlePalooza
it's MSG,
and Crown
isn't
Jewel.
It?
Yeah, it's MSG. Yeah, so I can sense that they're probably gonna end the match or whatever, and then they're gonna after whoever wins, basically Cena's opponent for Crown Jewel will show up. And
the MSG show actually comes into my prediction.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But
okay,
I mean, I don't know about you, but this is really hard to predict.
Yeah,
this is by far the difficult match.
Yeah, because are they going to give John the loss against Brock, or are they going to give John the win this time? Because I can't remember back. What was
there's a statistic that they said on Raw, or they didn't say it. It was put up on the screen on Raw.
Yeah.
Cena's next win is his 100th career win.
Yeah, so they're going to have him. Yeah, are they going to have him beat Brock?
And that's why I think Brock is winning at WrestlePalooza.
Yeah.
Because I think we're going to have Cena's 100th win come at Madison Square Garden.
You think so? Yeah.
Yes.
That's whoever he's facing. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing is when are they going to do that one? Yeah. I think.
Sorry, it feels like I keep interrupting you.
No,
but I feel like Cena will have a impromptu match at Madison Square Garden like he did with Sammy.
Yeah.
But not for a championship. It'll just be someone on Raw. Hopefully, I mean, I don't want to say hopefully a new up and comer, because I think he's going to win at Madison Square Garden, get that 100th win, make a big moment out of it. It's one of the big moments for Madison Square Garden. They like to do that kind of stuff over there. But for that to happen, he has to lose here. And also, I can't see Brock being pinned this early into a return. And I know that he's probably going to go away after this. I can't see him sticking around. Probably, it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see him again until the Royal Rumble build.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
but I cannot see Brock taking a loss already.
No, I mean, I sort of agree with you there. Yeah, I think what's probably going to happen is, obviously going on what I was saying beforehand, is possibly Brock. Yeah, Brock takes the win. So Brock gets the win, Cena's down, and then just as Cena's getting up and stuff, and the crowd are chanting like "Thank you, Cena" or whatever, then somebody's music will hit, and then that will then set up his thing there, and his Crown Jewel opponent. But then the question is who do we think it's going to be? This is the thing: is who do we think is going to be? Because I didn't suspect Brock Lesnar, but obviously I didn't suspect that he was going to be facing Brock Lesnar in his career. But this final few matches,
I have no clue. The more I think about it, the more I cannot seem to. Yeah, I can't figure it out. Like, the only person that I want him to face, which could also play into Survivor Series, is Seth.
Yeah,
because him and Seth have a very long history. Seth isn't doing any. I don't want to say he's not doing anything important, but he's not in a world title feud for WrestlePalooza.
Yeah.
So, they could do a thing where Seth comes out after in a hoodie or whatever.
Yeah.
Takes out Cena, because you could just have Cena be getting up, and then you could zoom in on Cena's face as he gets up, and then stomp, and then we go from there.
Yeah.
Cena gets another world title opportunity, which I'm sure people will moan endlessly about.
Yeah.
But Seth will beat Cena, I can imagine, because it would help him. But it also puts Cena in line to be on team against the Vision for Survivor Series, which I assume will be War Games.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Well, the only other one which I've seen floating around, which I quite like the idea of, is that Sammy comes out and they set it up then, and they do Sammy. Would they do Sammy versus Cena, and Cena beats Sammy and wins the championship, because in that way, then it's
that's silly. You could just have him feud with Dom, and then he could win the Intercontinental Championship, and then he could be against
or it is Dom, or it could be Dom. That's the thing as well. It could literally be Dom. That Dom comes out and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm the best," or whatever it is and stuff, and I want to challenge you or whatever, and then he could then go for that, win the Intercontinental Championship, and then leave. Essentially have that last match of his, because we've got to think whoever he faces at Crown Jewel, that's like his second to last match. Well, no, because he'll have Survivor Series, won't he? So third to last, yeah. So then whatever they're going to do is say like he wins the title at Survivor Crown Jewel, he's either going to drop it at Survivor Series or he'll drop it on his final match and stuff. And that's so. I mean, it's a difficult one. I've seen loads of people suggest things like loads of people want Roman to come out and stuff. Roman makes a return at WrestlePalooza and challenges Cena again, and they then have done that one final thing there of Roman versus one more time, and stuff. I've had,
could be Gunter, if he's okay.
Could be Gunter, It could be anyone, and that, loads of people coming out. It's hard to predict who it's going to be because, like I said,
there's no clear person.
Nobody suspected Brock Lesnar was going to show up at SummerSlam to come out and do that one. So that's the thing, and we don't know who's going to be showing up at WrestlePalooza because they're going to want to make it big. And if that match is main event for a reason, that match is the main event for a reason over the world title.
I mean, match. I assumed that it was going to be main event anyway.
Yeah,
because I didn't think they were going to put Cody and Drew on this show.
No, but I mean, but at the end of the day, if they have got Cody, obviously with Cody and Drew on it now, there's a reason why they've got Brock and why they've got Brock and Cena ending and that. And like I said, it's going to be to set up Cena's next opponent. I can sense it that way. They're going to do the SummerSlam ending where where he's obviously going to stand up again and stuff, either after taking a loss or taking a win or whatever, and stuff. Because that's the thing, is obviously they've done it after he got defeated by Cody, wasn't it? Cody won the championship and then Cena stood up, went to go and walk off as the crowd were chanting. Thank you, goodbye, and stuff like that. And then somebody comes out and does it. And I've actually just seen WrestleFaith in the comments, someone says Cena versus Randy. That could be one. Randy could literally come out and RKO him. Yeah, but they could have him come out and RKO him.
But they advertised it as one last time.
Oh yeah, didn't they? Yeah. I mean, it literally could be anybody, and this is the thing.
I agree.
It's impossible to say and stuff, and stuff. But we'll just quickly clear through the comments. So, and then that's the show for today. I mean, well, obviously, I'll finish off what I was saying anyway.
I assume you're back in Brock.
Yeah, I'm back in Brock. Yeah, so yeah. That was a long explanation to get to that one, but I'm back in Brock. So WrestlePalooza is this weekend. Obviously, it has the earlier start time of 7 p.m. EST, so that's midnight for us over here.
It's also all out if anyone's interested.
Yeah, well, that's this weekend as well, but we haven't really got time to cover that one on this show. So
no, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So it is all out this weekend as well, but that's got about 13 matches.
Watch it
as well.
Watch it. It's going to be a great show.
Fair enough.
13 matches are like a regular AW pay-per-view, to be fair.
I've heard of, yeah. Well, if people want to obviously watch all out, then obviously, go ahead and do that one as well. But like I said, it is WrestlePalooza. We have covered that one this weekend. A couple of comments then before we go on. So Ryan's here, and he's turned around and said, "Huh." So there we go. That's Ryan, just with "huh." Thank you, Ryan. For that one. WrestleFaith, I do not understand this match at all. Brock just comes back, attacks Cena, and fixated on Cena for no reason. Is Brock after Cena on his own storyline wise? This seems awkward. I mean, it makes no sense. Any of Cena's opponents make no sense, really. It's just whoever they want to do, basically. It's if you think about it, it's people who are going to be from Cena's history and stuff.
From
and
what I
Brock's
heard, Cena asked for Brock.
Isn't it? Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, well, there's things going around. Cena asked for Brock, but then also, but then yeah, it could be as simple as that. You know, yeah, Cena's had a lot of say in his final final run to who he wants to face. Just remember that. So you know, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Is Cena had a list of who he wants to face, and yeah, he's yeah, it's gonna be that way.
Yep.
No, I mean, you know, it would be funny if they done Cena versus Nikki Bella, but I can't see that happening. You know, but you know, that could be one which I could see there. You know, if they really wanted to go funny in that for it, you know, Cena versus Nikki Bella for a match. But no, I can't. You know, if they really wanted to. Also as well, yeah. So Rest Faith, MSG equals someone always leaves on a stretcher. I mean, they could do that, and that way then write somebody out then until Survivor Series. Yeah, so that's yes, that's that one there. But I mean, yeah, it's going to be difficult to call and stuff to who it's going to be. But the only thing that I can quite confidently say is they're more than likely going to be setting up Cena's crown jewel opponent with 3 weeks between the events. They're going to be setting up Cena's crown jewel opponent at WrestlePalooza. That's a guarantee. The only other way which they can do it really is MSG, but then that's about a week out. So unless they're going to give it basically like a week's build and stuff, I can't see that happening. You know, they're going to do it. They're going to do it at WrestlePalooza. That's guaranteed. I can sense it there. But yeah, so thank you for tuning in this week to the Uncut British Takeover again. Because no Bobby today. I will just say anyway, I am back on this tomorrow with Bobby, so it's going to be me and Bobby doing one tomorrow, and again tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. EST or 11 p.m. UK time. The return again of Putting the Blood in Line episode 2 with myself and Ed. We'll be back for that one. And yeah, don't forget WrestlePalooza this weekend on Saturday. And as well, one exclusive thing I am going to say is I'm doing a lot of shows this week as well because on Sunday, I don't know a time yet, but on Sunday, I will update this tomorrow. I am planning on doing a new show exclusively to the front row. That will be premium content. So if anyone does wish to view that show, please sign up to the front row before Sunday. And there will be more information following to what that show is going to be about and how you can get involved with this show. Keep an eye on my X over the next couple of days, ready to prepare for that one. So, you got anything coming up as well? Anything or anything like that, really?
Coverage of WrestlePalooza and AEW All Out, as well as TNA Victory Road and NXT No Mercy next week.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we got that next
reviews.
Week, so, yeah.
Lots of predictions and reviews on my channel coming up over the next week or so.
Yeah. To be fair, I completely forgot that we got Victory Road and everything for that next week as well. So yeah, so that's gonna be quite a fun one, isn't it? But no, yeah. So thank you once again for tuning in, and I will just double check anywhere else there. Okay, let me just double check. We have also got a comment on the TikTok saying hello, and that's from somebody called Did I Ask? So hello, to Did I Ask there. That sort of seems to be the only one on the TikTok. Sorry, I completely missed that one because it never showed up in the normal place. But yeah, so thank you for tuning in this week, and we will see you. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll probably be back next week with me, Bobby, and Leo on next week's show, ready to discuss WrestlePalooza and all the shows next week as well that we've got coming up. Yeah, No Mercy, and probably TNA as well, if we can convince Bobby to do it. But you know what he's like. He hates anything that he hates wrestling, so that's the thing. So so we will see you next week, and this is Zero signing out for the week. For it. See you later.